It's What's Trending with Jiminita Swain and the Bahama Beauty at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas from Studio A. It all starts right now.
Welcome to What's Trending. I'm Jiminita Swain. We are looking at all things bold, buzzy, and worth talking about, as well as the issues shaping our country and our world. Today is Tuesday, August 5th, so kick back and get ready to catch the buzz. Coming up on today's show, we're putting the spotlight on World Breastfeeding Week. Breastfeeding is widely recognized as one of the healthiest choices for babies, supporting both their health and survival. But here's something you might not know. Less than half of all infants under 6 months old are exclusively breastfed. Well, today we're digging deeper into the issue, exploring the benefits of breastfeeding and why supporting nursing moms is so vital to the health and well-being of their newborns. Also, summer heat waves are becoming more intense and frequent, bringing extended periods of dangerously high temperatures. These extreme conditions can pose serious risks not just to your health, but also to the environment, from heat exhaustion and dehydration to increased wildfire danger and power grid strain. We'll break down what you need to know to stay safe and prepared during extreme heat, and why experts say it's more than just a seasonal inconvenience. That and more when What's Trending returns. Every year, the first week in August is observed as World Breastfeeding Week. It's a global initiative supported by the World Health Organization, UNICEF, Ministries of Health, and civil society partners, aimed at raising awareness about the importance of breastfeeding. This year's theme, Invest in Breastfeeding, Invest in the Future. It highlights the vital role breastfeeding plays in building a healthier, more sustainable world. Joining us today to talk about this important topic are Trinika McCarty, that's Lactation Management Coordinator and President of the Bahamas National Breastfeeding Association, and Kelly Farquharson, the association's Chaplain and Assistant Treasurer. Welcome to What's Trending, ladies.
Good to be here.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. So to start off, we're going to start with you, Nurse McCarty. Tell us, how prevalent is breastfeeding in the Bahamas right now? Are we seeing an increase in awareness and the practice, or does it still have a long way to go?
Oh, you're correct. We have a long way to go here. Our last percentage was about 23% of mothers breastfeeding exclusively, and that was done in a survey around in 2000, and that was done in, no, not in 2000, but like in 2022. And so we have a long way to go, and there's some things, I'm happy, there's a lot of things happening in the pipeline to change a lot of what's going on through ministries and through the Breastfeeding Association. We are doing some things to get it done.
So why is breastfeeding so important, not just for babies, but for mothers as well?
Well, for the mother, breastfeeding is important for many reasons. For the mother, she has a lower risk of breast cancer, a lower risk of breast cancer, ovarian cancer. She has a lower risk of getting osteoporosis, that's softening of the bones. Also, there's a less chance for her to get postpartum depression where she exclusively breastfeeds. Also, it's very convenient for her when she exclusively breastfeeds. There's a lot of benefit when you breastfeed your baby mothers. It's very important.
And obviously the baby's getting the benefits as
well.
well.
The baby benefits from a lower risk of getting diabetes, certain things like rotten teeth, or other problems like orthodontist problems, okay, meaning crooked teeth, buck teeth, they call it, okay?
So that's
stuff like
that's
that.
great.
Jaundice, neonatal jaundice, diarrhea, vomiting, cholera. There's so many things that they avoid when they breastfeed their babies exclusively.
So Kelly, sorry.
Oh.
Kelly, we're going to bring you into the conversation a little bit. So tell us about the work of the Bahamas National Breastfeeding Association. What role does this organization play in promoting and supporting breastfeeding locally?
Well, the BNBA, we head and we lead on World Breastfeeding Week in the Bahamas. So we had the big latch on Friday that Ms. McCarty headed, and then we just had a Pamper Me Day. So we're out here trying to make sure that moms know that the BNBA is here to help us support mothers in breastfeeding in the Bahamas and make it known how important it is to breastfeed your infants. So that's what we're doing in the Bahamas. We are out here in August as well as in October for Bahamas National Breastfeeding Week.
And we talked about the benefits. Obviously, some of those are especially crucial in the first 6 months of an infant's life. That's definitely key. Do you want to add anything else?
Yes, we want to let people know exclusive breastfeeding means only human milk should be given to the baby for the first 6 months.
Yes.
And that means no pacifiers, ladies, no bottles, okay, no supplementary feeds like Karo syrup and gripe water and all of those other things people like to give babies, and orange juice and all of those other off-the-wall things. And what the most used one is water. For the first 6 months, only human milk should be given to your baby.
Because everything is in that.
Everything is in that. It's 70% water, 30% vitamins, minerals, fats, carbohydrates, and all of the other immunoglobulins and all of those things for a good immune system to keep the baby from getting sick.
So are there any myths or misconceptions that you want to clarify for our viewers today?
My goodness. I mean, there are so many myths that it is unbelievable. One myth is what they say, if you blow, no, how they would say, the milk gets sour if the baby cough on the breast, or so, it's all sorts of different myths. If you drink or eat certain foods, the milk is sour. Other myths, you could enlighten me on any myths.
There's
Kelly?
also one that if the mom is sick and she breastfeeds, the infant is also going to be sick. That's not true.
Yes.
That's not true.
So it's important for persons to know that these are just, as we would say, old wives'
Old
tales.
wives' tables, old wives' tales. Just how they would say, oh, if you eat mangoes, your baby can be bright. That ain't not
Or they're going to
true.
have diarrhea.
Yeah, or they can have that. No, that is not true. Remember, it's in the genetic pool. If you and the gentleman who you're pregnant for, if he's dark and you're dark, you shouldn't expect to have a very, very light baby. You know. So,
You have
see, it's
a
mixed.
natural color.
Right, thank you. It'll be right in between there, you know. So there's a lot of myths. They tell people about breastfeeding that are not true. Oh, if you breastfeed, this one is the famous. If you breastfeed, girl, your breast can sag. I
Yes.
tell them that is not true.
Not true.
If you 50, if you 60, if you 20, if you don't breastfeed, your breast still is going to go south.
Gravity and they go big.
Thank you. Gravity. If you don't exercise, if you don't eat healthy, if
Correct.
you don't do certain things, that is going to go like that anyhow.
And posture
so do
as
not
well.
blame breastfeeding on that issue.
Do you have any more activities that's going to happen?
Oh, yes.
Over the
For
course
this
of
week,
yeah.
we have one last activity that will happen tomorrow. That is the World Breastfeeding Competition and exhibition. The clinics are supposed to be involved in this initiative, and we will be having the judging done tomorrow. And then on Thursday, we will announce the winner at the clinic or the place that wins the competition. So it is going to be a grand time. We're going to enjoy it. And they're going to get trophies and a floating trophy, and they will be getting a nice basket of some sort.
Oh, that sounds good.
yes,
Well, definitely thank you so much, Nurse McCarty, Kelly, for joining us on What's Trending today. Definitely good information there for our viewers, especially for the moms to be and
We are
moms
happy
that are
to be
nursing
here.
now.
We are happy to be here.
Well, all the best as you, like I said, as you continue your important work. But When we come back, we've got some tips to help you beat this summer heat. Stay with us. You're watching What's Trending. The hot weather, especially during a summer heat wave, can seriously impact people's health, daily routines, and overall well-being. From heat exhaustion to heat stroke and even the worsening of chronic illnesses, the effects can be severe if precautions aren't taken. Joining us in studio to help us understand what's happening and share some expert advice is the Director of Meteorology, Mr. Jeff Simmons. Welcome to What's Trending, Mr. Simmons.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Great to have you here with us. So first off, how would you describe the current summer heat conditions we are experiencing here in the Bahamas, and has the season been hotter than usual?
Well, this is now going on. We had several summers now, with this sort of strong heat wave conditions that's going on. Over the past several weeks, we have had temperatures into the mid to upper 90s. And the thing is, the heat index is what really bothers us. It goes up. We have heat index in excess of 100 degrees consistently, just about every day now for the past few weeks.
And that's definitely not playing with us. So what is officially considered a heat wave in our region, and how long does it typically last?
Well, when you consider heat waves, you look at where you have these heat conditions for long periods of time, for several weeks, going into months, very little rain, and heat temperature well above the average, not well above, but our average around the summertime is about around 95. We see in temperatures up to 97, and of course the heat index, like I said, up to 115, and some days possibly going up to 120 degrees.
And that's really, really hot.
Yeah.
So can you walk us through how the Department of Meteorology determines when to issue heat advisories or warnings, and what are some of the factors that you take into consideration?
Well, we have been issuing heat advisory now for the past few weeks consistently. And what we look at is that, like I said, when we have these high temperatures consistently, very little rainfall, and also this, what we call the heat index again. We also look at the wind conditions. So if you don't have much breeze to cool things down a bit, the heat is just going to even be more persistent. So we issue heat warnings, alerts, for people to take precaution in the middle of all of these heat.
And just a reminder of some of the warnings that you would include in those advisories.
Well, we advise people, for one, first and foremost, to stay hydrated. For people who work in the sun, who work in the direct sunlight, people who work outdoors all day, we ask them, you take a little more breaks every now and again to cool off, get some water, sit in the shade for a while. And we ask people, not to be outside for any long period of time. Elderly people especially, or people with some comorbidities, we ask them to try to avoid staying outdoors.
Because this heat would cause them to fall out and have some other
challenges.
Definitely,
you get a heat stroke, and that is something, you can't even hardly feel it coming on.
And you said earlier that we've been experiencing these hotter summer temperatures for some time now. Are you seeing a growing trend, meaning that we're leaning more in the direction of hotter summers?
Well, we are, and we've been trending in that direction now for quite some time now. It has been predicted, and actually it's happening, the climate change issue. So we are seeing the warmer summers, and we're also seeing some strange things happening in other parts of the world during the winter. It could be cooler. So, so it's a climate change. It's something that's happening, globally.
And at what point do we say that, we know that the heat is just uncomfortable, but when we look at the dangers or effects that it can have on public health, infrastructure, and even on pets, you mentioned the elderly earlier, but animals are also impacted by these higher temperatures as well. Oh
yes, they are, and especially if you keep your pets indoors, you want to make sure the place is air conditioned, even outdoors. And you want to make sure if you have dogs, whatever, especially dogs, a lot of people have dogs outside. You want to ensure that they have water available so they can drink water, and so also that they can dip their paws in the water to cool their body temperature down. Please don't throw water on your dogs. It's not good.
It's not going to help.
No.
Okay. And in terms of the infrastructure, I mean, obviously you could see some things melting and I guess maybe compromised in some ways due to these temperatures, or that's just something that we just look out for?
Well, it's things we look out for. The heat over a period of time, it could have an effect on the integrity of some of these infrastructure, depending on what type of materials they're made out of, you know. So those are things you want to look out for also.
And we know that persons tend to want to work out. I mean, I would think you would also advise them not to do it during the hotter or the peak hours of the day. So I think you will want to remind them.
No, I would not advise people working out in the middle of the day. Do it in the early mornings, or the evenings are long now, you know, so you have cool evenings. So look at when the sun began to drop, to set a bit. So you're looking at either evening time or morning time. Midday is not a good time to get out there jogging and exercise on outdoors. If you want to do that, you need to go in the gym.
And make sure that's cool enough. And you talked a little bit earlier on about the effects of climate change and its contributing factors to the hotter temperatures that we are seeing. So based on the data that you have, these temperatures are going to increase, or do you expect these summer temperatures to last longer than typical?
Well, what we have, you know, we have records in the Department of Meteorology extending almost a century, right? And you know, we did some analysis on those, and we noticed that there is a gradual increase in temperature in maximum temperatures over the years. So yeah, we're looking at these things to continue to increase, and we're looking at them to more or less sustain itself for a while. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, you know, said, you know, we had this 1.5 degree, which we have exceeded already. That's average global temperatures. We have exceeded that practically already. And we see it even going up. And there are many effects that this could have on our environment, on people, on our ecosystems, on animals, on trees even.
It impacts so many different areas. And I note if we just go back to some of your advisories that you issued, some of the islands, I know I was in Grand Bahama recently and it feels like it's a different heat depending on which island you go to. So talk a little bit about that difference in temperature that we seem to be feeling.
I don't know. In my experience, the more urbanized an area is, the more the heat seems to be different. So probably it's because if you're in an area where there are very little trees, not much shade, if you have a lot of asphalt on things that actually reflect heat, you would actually feel it more.
So people they're not losing their minds. They are definitely feeling it. It
they
feels hotter depending. And I know that some of the islands you had highlighted in some of the advisories that you issued to say these were definitely experiencing heat waves and higher temperatures.
Right, those islands.
And so remind our viewers again the tips to stay cool, especially our vulnerable audiences that are tuning in as we all battle this summer heat wave.
So as much as possible, avoid being in direct sunlight for any long period of time. Very important, stay hydrated. Okay, so even though sometimes they say when you reach a certain age, you don't feel thirsty anymore. Well, you need to get in the habit of drinking water to stay hydrated, and water, not necessarily, not sodas and things like that. But
stay away from the sugary drinks and even alcohol and caffeine and stuff, caffeinated drinks as well.
Especially the alcohol, stay away from them as much as possible if you're going to be outdoors a lot. And if I know there are jobs people have to work, they have to be outside. So, start to take a little more breaks. Don't stay in that direct sunlight for too long. Try to get hats, broad-brimmed hats and things to keep parts of your bodies covered.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Simmons, for joining us on What's Trending today. I'm sure our viewers will take heed to those warnings and to stay cool.
Yes, thank you.
Well, as the summer heat continues, it's crucial for all of us to stay informed, to take precautions, and to look out for those most vulnerable in our communities. Remember, heat isn't just about comfort, it's about protecting your health and well-being. Stay cool, stay hydrated, and stay tuned. There's more coming up on What's Trending.
Have you ever thought about how your life as a motorist would be affected without traffic lights? Well, today is the day to think about it because August 5th is observed as International Traffic Light Day. This day not only highlights the installation of the very first traffic signal, but also reminds us of just how important these everyday tools are for road safety and traffic flow. Now, for most of us living on the Family Islands, traffic lights are limited or even non-existent. But in the more developed islands like New Providence and Grand Bahama, traffic lights play a big role in helping motorists manage busy intersections and reduce congestion. They're not just about order. They're about safety too. From slowing down traffic to preventing collisions, traffic signals make a big difference in our daily commutes. But here's a fun fact. Do you know where the very first electric traffic light was installed? It was in Cleveland, Ohio on August 5th, 1914, right at the corner of Elucidate Avenue and East 105th Street. It's used only red and green lights, but it set the standard for traffic lights around the world. Fast forward to today, and traffic lights are smarter than ever. With adaptive technology, some systems can now detect the volume of traffic and adjust in real time to ease congestion. Pretty impressive, right? Now let's get serious for a moment. While we won't be throwing parades for traffic lights just yet, International Traffic Light Day is all about raising awareness of road safety, responsible driving, and the importance of responsible traffic signals. Now let's get serious for a moment. While we won't be throwing parades for traffic lights just yet, International Traffic Light Day is all about raising awareness of traffic safety, responsible driving, and the importance of respecting traffic signals. Some communities mark the day with safety workshops or school programs, using the opportunity to remind both new and experienced drivers what those lights really mean, because yes, yellow means slow down and not speeding up. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to take traffic lights for granted, but we shouldn't. Running a red light remains one of the leading causes of accidents. Distracted driving, especially at intersections, is a growing concern. And pedestrian safety depends on everyone obeying the signals, not just drivers. So today, let's show a little appreciation for that simple trio of colors, red, yellow, and green, that keep us safe, keeps traffic moving, and makes modern transportation possible. Happy International Traffic Light Day, and remember to stop on red, slow down on yellow, and go on green. And always drive smart.
If you would like to be a part of What's Trending, DM us on Instagram at What's Trending on ZNS.
On tomorrow's show, fostering positive relationships with the people around you and how being a good neighbor can make life easier, safer, and more enjoyable. We'll be exploring all of those possibilities. Well, that's the end of another trending day. Be sure to follow us on Instagram. That's at What's Trending on ZNS for all the latest buzz, behind the scenes moments, and what's hot on the timeline. We'll be right back here tomorrow at 6 p.m. with more lifestyle, entertainment, and everything in between. See you later.